So even Fat Tuesday, we think as outsiders to New Orleans that it's like this one big parade, but it's not. It's a bunch of different parades with different crews.
Oh, really?
So,
Okay.
Oh my God, I love it.
yeah, so there's black parades, white
one.
parades, and there's a crazy history. I mean, these are parades that have been going like 200 years. There's a lot of racially tense history, a lot of segregation in the past between certain parades. Like this parade didn't let racial mixing until like the 80s or 90s. So much fucked up shit. But Zulu, I went to Zulu for part of it. That's an all black, the oldest black parade. It's 8 hours long.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah. They
Talk about trying to stay up.
Well, they build their floats and costumes for an entire year. So they're already working on next year's Mardi Gras, all these crews. Warehouses full of the floats. And these floats are humongous, like double, triple deckers. And they come by and they throw things at you, prizes and stuffed animals and candy and and beads, of course. But there's smaller parades leading up to that. So those are like tourist, big major parades. But there's more local parades. And one of them was a sci-fi. It was an all Star Wars parade. And that was about 4 or 5 hours. But they get real creative with it. Like there was a Rocky Horror Picture Show float, but it was combining Star Wars and Rocky Horror.
Oh my God. That's so cool.
Yeah.
Holy
and
shit.
Then Crew de Vue.
That'd be a great mix.
My favorite parade that I got to experience was Crew de Vue, which is like a super far leftist political parade. And this year's theme was Erection 2020. It's very dirty, X-rated parade. It was a whole parade of giant penises. Like Trump's face, like giant effigies of Trump with huge penises like banging into it. And just
I love it.
Crazy.
Oh my God.
And people bring their little kids. There was like little girls like, yay, yay, to the giant penises.
Yeah, because, if you think about it, a penis is just a penis. Sometimes it doesn't matter what's attached to it. It's just a penis. It's part of life.
But this is a place where you get a feeling here that you can be whoever you want to be. You can say or do whatever. And people don't get like super offended. People aren't real uptight here. People are very accepting and open here. They really, really are. And so that's been really healthy for me. I think I just needed a change in a lot of ways, but one of the things I think I needed to get away from was this sense of being on eggshells all the time. Not sure if I could really be myself in Chicago. Like in the smart bar circle, absolutely, sure.
Yeah, but you wish everywhere would be like that,
Right.
I
think that's why I love smart bar so much,
Well, that's the thing. I was going to segue into that and just say, like, I think that there is that small community that to me, it's a big family because we could name almost everyone that we know that we've seen. And
really? I don't know if I can.
I can. But I think that, we definitely have to rely on something like that for us to feel like we have a connection or have that connection to actually obtain it. But it should be everywhere. And, that's what I wanted to ask you, kind of what your favorite memories were, or what you loved about Smart Bar or Queen.
You think
or
I can remember anything about Smart Bar?
Well, just anything that comes to mind,
Well, Smart Bar definitely, it's funny because I won't admit this to too many people, unless they're Smart Bar people. But the hardest thing about moving here was not being able to go to Smart Bar. That's just the fact, I wish, I could say, I missed my mom the most, or my best friends the most, or work, or my neighborhood. I missed all those things. But that not being able to go to Queen and hear that music and see the people was really hard. I went through a withdrawal from it, and I searched for anything here that could replace it. And there's nothing. There's different things, but they're different.
Yeah.
There's the club scene here is a whole nother story. I finally got to experience it on Christmas Eve of all nights because I could never go on Fridays and Saturdays. But maybe we'll do another podcast sometime, but I will just
Yeah.
say psychedelics are very big here. That's all I'll say.
Absinthe and all that.
I mean, when those bars open up, I would love to do a Zoom video of you just going in one of those bars. And, that would be great.
Well, I got to go to a club. It's actually called Techno Club, which is the most generic name ever. But it was fantastic, and it's free. It's always free. And a lot of the kids here are homeless or borderline homeless, and they're not going to spend money on alcohol. They're not going to go somewhere they have to pay. But the clubs here, the few that there are, have a much more rave kind of a feel to them. You got the kids with the fire and the glow sticks and all that stuff. Kind of like Freakeasy, probably.
Okay, it's like Burgers, yeah.
But imagine it in like a teeny tiny basement.
So like how Freakeasy started,
so kind of like the raves that I was used to growing up with.
Yeah, except it's in an actual bar where the drinks are like $3, and they never have to close if they don't want to. They can close at 8 a.m. or whenever they feel like it.
Wow, that's amazing.
Things are very lax here like that, and there are many bars and clubs that are 24 hours. So you don't have to go to the after party because you can just stay at the bar.
Yeah, I mean, and then you're making friends already, so why not? That's
but
always nice.
In terms of Smart Bar, through my 20s, Berlin was my home. Berlin was like my safe haven, and I went there a lot, and I made really close friendships there and loved the music. And I can't remember exactly when, but like my early 30s, I just sort of transitioned or graduated to Smart Bar. And Smart Bar, I think, was going through a really interesting time because I had been going to Smart Bar. I had a girlfriend who was dating the head of security at the time. So I kind of got VIP treatment from the very first time I ever went. And so I got spoiled. Yeah. I got really spoiled.
Yeah, I was saying the same thing.
Yeah, I was spoiled at Berlin, and at Berlin I sort of just earned because I was there all the time and people treated me well. The Smart Bar, I got spoiled because it was through a friend, through a connection.
Yeah.
I think one of the very first times I went there was a big anniversary party. It was the 10-year anniversary of Smart Bar. And it was Derrick, or maybe 20, I can't remember. It was a big anniversary. It was like Derrick, Miles Maeda, DJ Colette, and DJ Heather.
That's like all of them in the same room. Jeez.
Maybe Mark Farina. I think it was DJ Heather. But it was a huge packed, you know how it is.
Yeah.
But back then, it wasn't really seen as like a queer friendly place yet, much less a queer place. I would say queer friendly, but nothing like what Queen has done to it. It was very different.
It hasn't been around that long. I mean, I think Jeff said that it's been around about 8 years now.
Oh, Queen, yeah.
So so it kind of did. It did like kind of change the record on that and how the vibe was and who came and yeah.
Yeah, I was at the very first Queen, and I remember that a little tidbit. Hopefully, my mom doesn't watch this, but at that big anniversary party, my friend, she was dating the security guy, and he took us through a tour of the whole metro during the party. The offices, that weird little theater on the 3rd floor where Tori Amos played and some nun like committed suicide or something.
Yeah.
That was a creepy place.
I bet.
But we went and smoked opium in the green room, which I was like looking at Madonna's signature and like I think Kurt Cobain or some things that were just blowing my mind in there. And we smoked opium, which I hadn't done since like college. And then we go back downstairs, and I remember Derrick Carter was playing. I used to listen to Derrick Carter CDs in high school and college. So, and I didn't know him yet. Personally, I didn't know Derrick at all. To me, he was like a famous celebrity, but I remember thinking with my ear that the music was phenomenal, but I could not even keep a basic step to it because I had just smoked opium. Who smokes opium?
Well, how can you do anything? Yeah.
Like the dumbest idea ever.
And you did it in the green room, which I rarely ever talk about. I knew that there was one. I'm like, I know people go up there to like film and do other things, and Yeah.
That's the only time I was ever in there.
I don't think I've ever been in there yet. I definitely would like to go.
I don't think any
sometime.
of the current security people were working there yet. That was I was in my 20s. That was a long time ago. But then I started going again. I had this friend, John Seapack. I don't know if you know him. He's
I've heard of him.
Very elusive. But he was a Berlin person that he'd be like, hey, let's go to Smart Bar, and then let's go back to Berlin, then let's go back to Smart Bar. We would go like 7-8 times back and forth. To see was the music. It was before we used cell phones compulsively.
Yeah, you used to take a cab back and forth.
Well, yeah, we would walk or take a cab or get in his car. But I don't even think we had cell phones. Maybe we did. We probably did. But
well, what year was it? Because I think the iPhones came out. I think iPhones came out in 2002.
This would have been about 9 or 10 years ago.
Okay, so it's probably not the iPhone. I became
like a regular at Smart Bar pretty close to before Queen started, and I started going there more. And John would always get me in for free. He had he acted like he was VIP there. But what I slowly started to realize, everyone knew John, everyone loved John, but he was very much like a loner, which I kind of am too in some ways. And so he would come get me into Smart Bar, and as the year or two went on, he would start to disappear, just vanish. And I never knew if he was going to hook up with people or if he was at Berlin. I never knew. But I found out eventually that he lived like an hour and a half away.
Huh.
And he was driving all the way home.
Oh my gosh.
So I started to just be on my own, and I became friends with everybody. But the thing that was the tie-in for me was Michael Serafini. Yeah. Because I followed Michael longer than any other DJ, and he's probably my favorite DJ in the world. Sorry, Derrick.
But we always say that too.
I just have such a soft spot for Michael because he used to play Berlin every Thursday night. And
I didn't know that.
Oh yeah. When I moved here, Berlin was Ralphie Rosario every Tuesday for free.
Yeah.
Wednesday was Ladies Night, which usually had some really good DJs. I can't remember who it was. And then Thursday because we'd go every Wednesday to Spin for What the Fuck Wednesday.
Spin! I haven't heard about Spin in forever. And I wasn't with Matt when I was learning about it, because my story is similar to yours. Where when I was young, I went to Berlin. Because I'm 23, I'm 34 now.
When You're 23, girl?
I was 34. But when I was 23, I met Matt, and that's when we started to go to Smart Bar. Berlin was where I went when I was 21, and that was where I went with my older friends.
I wonder if we were there. We were probably there at the same time.
We probably were. There. But Spin, I remember hearing, and I never gone in there. I just never went. I didn't
really like Spin. Spin did not play good music.
Okay.
The reason we went there was, I think it was $5 to get in, and then every single drink was $1, no matter what you ordered.
That's how do you lose money? How do you lose money that way? I don't know.
Because it was fucking packed.
Wow.
So we would go there on Wednesdays for an hour or two to get some cheap drinks, and then we would go to Berlin So I would go to Berlin every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, and Saturday. Not Fridays. I could never go on Fridays because I always had to go to work early on Saturday. But Saturday nights, DJ Dion, who's now in LA, and I don't even think he DJs anymore. He works in the film industry, but he was awesome. I loved DJ Dion. And I would go say hi to him in the booth, and he would play. He would wink at me or nod at me, and then he would play one of 2 or 3 songs that he knew were my favorite songs, which were Flatbeat by Mr. Oizo, She's a Bitch remix by Missy Elliott, and there was a Beastie Boys song he would play for me sometimes, which I can't remember which. Oh, I think it was this cool remix of Intergalactic that he had.
Yes.
But Mr. Oizo's Flatbeat, which is still one of my favorite songs of all time, he would play for me, and I would go crazy dancing. I'd be on the stage every night. I even once tore my pants completely open on the stage.
I'll be sure to include that song in this episode just for you.
And I chipped one of my teeth off at Berlin. Yep.
No.
I got a bottle of beer, and it was kind of busy, and there was this gigantic dude next to me, huge guy, and he just innocently backed up into, you know how it's tiny there, and I had just taken my very first sip of beer of the night, and he backed into me, and so yeah, this one's fake.
Did your lip get split too?